discussing some statistics related to eclipses. Recently, there have been some eclipses in the United States, and or there was an eclipse in the United States. So, I wanted to go over some statistics related to where eclipses occur the most often. So, and for the time frame, this will be the start of the 20th century and the eclipses that have been in the 21st century so far. So, let's get into the data. Okay, so before the data, I wanted to share a little bit about one statistic related to eclipses. There's a Saros, which is essentially the period of time for the sun, earth, and moon to return to the same relative geometry, or a straight line, for an identical eclipse to occur. Now that period of time is 223 synodic months, which is 6,585.3211 days, or 18 years, 10, 11, or 12 days, depending upon the number of leap years, 8 hours. So, that's the length of time it takes for the Earth, Sun, and Moon to return to the same point. So, so the eclipse that just happened a few weeks ago, if we go back to, let's see, 18 years ago, so that would be 2005. It's going to have to be around 2005, early 2005. You know, the sun or the moon were in the same position. So, anyway, that's an interesting fact about how Saroses are used to predict where eclipses will occur. And now we'll go into the data. Okay, so as always, I'll leave a link in the description, or a link in the description to where I found the data. And this tab is compiled data, and I sorted this by duration. Now, the duration was not available for all the eclipses in the 20th century. However, for ones that it was, the longest eclipse in terms of duration occurred in March 17th of 1904. And it happened in the Indian Ocean. So, actually, the longest ones, the three longest ones in duration, were all over an ocean with Europe's of eclipses. There can be an annular, non-central, a hybrid, a partial, or a total eclipse. So I wanted to see what continent or ocean had the highest percentage of total eclipses. So, and again, I divide this, so, you know, Europe, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, South America, North America, Africa, Atlantic Ocean, Asia, Antarctica, Southern Ocean, Arctic Ocean, and Oceania. So Europe had the highest percentage of eclipses that were total eclipses. So again, there have been 10 eclipses in Europe since. And by the way, I want to be, when I had the location, this is where the greatest eclipse was, or the apex of the eclipse was. So sometimes eclipses will have a path, so it might go over Europe and Asia, or it might go over an ocean and part of the continent. So when I say there have been 10 eclipses, eclipses, that's where like the greatest eclipse occurred. So it's a point. It's not the entire path. So I need to be clear about that. Okay, but anyways, Europe had the highest percentage of total eclipses at 50%. The Indian Ocean was next at 44.44. There was the Pacific Ocean at 43.4. South America was fourth at 42.86. North America was next at 40. Africa was next at 36.36. Then the Atlantic Ocean at 36.36. Asia was at 25.64. Antarctica was 19.05. The Southern Ocean was 15.22. The Arctic was next to last at 5.88, and Oceania had 0% that were total eclipses. Okay. Next, I wanted to see what country or ocean had the most eclipses. Okay. And this was all types of eclipses. And again, this is using the maximum or the greatest point to the eclipse, not the path. So the most was the Pacific Ocean at 53, then the Southern Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and again the Pacific Ocean had 19% of the total eclipses, followed by the Southern Ocean 16.55, the Atlantic Ocean 11.51, and Russia, Antarctica, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, the United States was next. I did find it interesting that, and again, Russia is the largest country by land mass, so that makes sense that they would have more. I did find it interesting that the United States had more than Canada, since Canada is larger in land mass, but then Indonesia, like say having 4 was also interesting, because in terms of land mass, but and so we go down the list. So they have a bunch that just had 1, and it's at 0.36%. Now, if we divide this up by continents and oceans rather than countries, then we have the count. So again, 53 for the Pacific, 46 for the Southern, 39 for Asia, 33 for the Atlantic Ocean, 21 for Antarctica, 20 for North America, 18 for the Indian Ocean, 17 for the Arctic Ocean, 11 for Africa, 10 for Europe, 7 for South America, and 3 for Oceania. And like I say, it is interesting how, like I say, Asia is the largest continent, so that makes sense that it would have the most eclipses in terms of, a continent. It was interesting how Antarctica and North America, or how Antarctica had the next most. So, and then, again, we go down percentage, 19.06 of the eclipses were in, the greatest point was over the Pacific, 16.55 was over the Southern Ocean, 14.03 was over Asia, 0.87 was over the Atlantic, 7.55 was over Antarctica, 7.19 was over North America, 6.47 was over the Indian Ocean, 6.12 was over the Arctic, 3.96 was over Africa, 3.6 was over Europe, 2.52 was over South America, and then 1.08 was over the Oceania. And then we want to look at how many eclipses occurred over the oceans versus a land mass. 60%, or 60.07, occurred over an ocean, and 39.93 occurred over a land mass. So again, if people want to see an ocean, or sorry, not see an ocean, see an eclipse, look looks like the Pacific is the place to be. Of course, again, they have locations for the future eclipses up through the end of this century, so you can actually plan a trip ahead. Like I say, if you're interested, and get the required classes, so to view the eclipse. Anyway, I hope this has this eclipse statistics video has shed some light on the eclipses and where they occur. This is a Stats MR. Wishing that you have it.